up to the pelvis, we're going to just try and draw that pubic bone towards the tailbone. So we're trying to draw pubic bone towards the tailbone so that we activate that band of muscle around the low abdominals. And then rib cage sitting nicely on top, just relaxing those shoulders. And we're just going to start with the head. We're going to turn the head to the side. We're going to breathe in as we bring the head back to the center, and we're going to exhale as we turn the head to the other side. And breathe into the center. So remember, it's just the head, you know, so the shoulders, the chest doesn't change position, it keeps facing forwards. Just the head turning. And then back to the center. And then if you just lift up the arms, breathing and lift up the arms, exhaling down. Breathing in. Trying to make sure that as the arms come up, that we don't, you know, we don't want to let the ribs lift up. Okay, so we're trying to keep that lengthened spine while we're lifting those arms. And just lifting them to where it is comfortable for you. And before, you know, we don't want to end up losing our necks. So keeping the neck long. Next time you take the arms up, just take the hands onto the shoulders, and we'll just start to circle the shoulders. So you're bringing those elbows towards each other. And then up and away. And the last one. So then if we just let the head nod, we're just going to do half roll downs this morning. So you're going to let the head nod, drawing that belly button in and up, so that we're trying to kind of round the spine at that mid back there. Just curl and roll down until your hands are about level with your knees. Breathing in, and then you're going to exhale and uncurl. Breathing in at the top there again, and then exhaling. So as you curl over, just check up on how your spine is feeling, particularly that lower back. Is it feeling good, or is it feeling a little bit stiffer than normal, maybe? And just one more. Okay, so coming all the way back down to the feet, we're going to just peel one heel off the floor and spread it back down, keeping that pelvis level as you do that. So we don't want to kind of sink into the hips. Okay, so the pelvis is going to stay level. Okay, you're peeling that heel off the floor and spreading it back down. Think Velcro. The floor is one piece of Velcro, your foot is the other piece of Velcro, and you're peeling it away slowly, sticking it all back down slowly. So then you're going to lift, keep that heel up. You're going to take the other heel up as well. And then you take one heel down and then the second heel down. Try and do it with as much control as you can. So one heel comes up, then the other heel. Take the first heel down and then the second heel down. Keeping that pelvis level at the same time. So quite a bit of control required. Use that center, use those abdominal muscles to help you with that balance. And then you're going to switch legs. So if you always start with the same foot, which I tend to do myself, so I want you to try leading or beginning with the other leg. Up and up and down and down. Okay, and one more. And just relax those legs. So you're going to pick up your band. And you're just going to hold it in front of you as if you were holding a tree. Okay, so just holding it in front of you with your hands open to the ceiling, elbows at your waist, band is kind of loose in between there, and hands are slightly closer together than your elbows are. We're going to start with the shoulder blades. Okay, nice flat bones sitting on top of your ribs. We're going to try and slide the shoulder blades towards each other. You're not, we're not pinching the shoulder blades together. We don't want to pop the ribs forward. Slide the shoulder blades towards each other. Then you're going to turn the hands over and you're going to stretch that band across your body and then slowly undo all of that so that you end up with your palms to the ceiling again. So shoulder blades towards each other. Keep them drawn towards each other as you stretch that band away. And then all the way back in. Breathing in as you extend and then as you return. Okay, and last one. Okay. So you're going to take the band, you're going to put it around your bottom. You're trying to keep the band flat. Try not to let it wrinkle up. If you have it sort of slightly underneath, that helps. Just hold both ends of the band out in front of you loose. There's no tension on them at the moment. So we're going to do our squats into the band. So you're going to sit back, you're going to push back into the band and you're going to stretch your arms forward at the same time. And then come back up. Breathing in, stretching back, and exhaling up. Try to keep those shoulders nice and wide. Keep the chest open. You don't want to hunch everything as we bend the knees and the folded hips. Nice wide across the collarbones. Breathing in, pressing back. So you've got a bit of support from the band. Pushing back. Okay, and 3, 2, and the last one. Okay, last of all with the band, you're going to stand both feet on the band in the middle, close to the middle as you can. Both feet hip distance apart. You're going to bend down a little bit so that we take hold of the band level with your knees. So that when you stand up, there's a bit of tension on the band. So it's going to feel like your arms are being pulled down a little bit. You're going to just pick the shoulders up, place them down over the ribs. Okay. And now we're going to do our side bend. So the arms they are just hanging, you know, they're all the arms are doing is holding the band. We're not pulling. Just let those arms hold on to the band. You're going to breathe in as you side bend over, and you're going to exhale back into the middle. Breathing in, exhaling back. So lifting the ribcage, think of lifting that ribcage up and away from the pelvis. And then drawing the ribcage back into alignment. And back into center, and then you can step out of the band and just put it alongside there. So you're going to stand at the end of your mat, but with your mat behind you. So your mat is behind you. You are carefully going to take one leg behind you so that you end up with one knee on the floor and one foot out in front. Okay, so one knee down on the floor, one foot out in front, and then sitting up tall there, both arms out in front of you. So whichever knee is out in front, you're going to turn your body towards that knee. Turn towards that knee, open up your arms. Okay, and then bring everything back to where you started. So you're breathing in, you're turning towards the knee in front of you. Exhaling back. We'll do two more. Breathing in. And last one. Okay, we're going to swap around. And so you're turning the other way this time. Excuse me, I just need to stop my phone pinging. Okay, so breathing in, opening up, turning towards the knee, exhaling back. 2, 3, and last one. Okay, so you're just going to come to all fours. I'm just going to adjust the camera. So starting on all fours. Make yourselves comfortable. Make any changes you need to make to your setup. So, on our hands and knees, you've got those wrists a little wider apart than your shoulders. And if you have a look at your knees, we want to make sure there's a space in between the knees. Also, kind of want roughly right angles at the shoulders and the hips so that we've got a bit of a box shape, a nice square box. We don't want to be hunched up and we don't want to be sort of spread out. We want to be pretty much at our right angle space there. Starting off with cat stretch. So cat stretch, well, we want to start at the bottom, start at the tail end. Try to tuck the tail between the legs. Okay, and then working along the spine. So that we end up just letting the head relax, looking at your knees, and then as you breathe in, you start at that tail end again. We're trying to let that tail begin to stick out behind us, gradually working along the spine. And then exhaling as we curl. Breathe in. Stand. So we come back to that sort of middle position where we are not collapsing to the floor and we're not curling up to the ceiling. So our spine in its kind of neutral or natural position, still with those abdominal muscles engaged. We're going to just start off nice and straightforward with swimming on all fours. So that's opposite arm and leg sliding out. and then sliding back in. And then on the other side, sliding out, sliding back in. Okay. So we're trying to keep that pelvis level, and we're also trying to keep the shoulders level. So that, if we had a spirit level sitting across your spine from one shoulder to the opposite hip joint, opposite buttock, trying to keep that as level as possible. So as smooth a change, as smooth a transition from one side to the other as you can. Next time when you've got arm and leg extended, I want you to just take them out to opposite corners of the room and then back in and back to the floor. So on the other side, we extend out to opposite corners of the room, back in, and then I'll just turn and face the camera in case you're not sure. We go out to the sides, and back, and then out to the sides, and back. So if we just do that once more on each side. Back in, and then have a good stretch back into child's pose. Trying to get the bottom towards the heels. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. And then if you come all the way down to your tummy, and we're going to have the arms, you're going to have your arms out sort of W shapes when you're down on your tummy. So, okay. So your forearms and your fingertips are pointing straight ahead. Sort of along, they're parallel to the edge of your mat. And legs relaxed out behind you. As relaxed as possible. So starting from the center, I want you to draw, using the muscles, I want you to draw your belly button away from the mat. Probably going to feel that pubic bone sort of moving towards the mat a little bit, and that's good. That's what we want. Okay, so then we're just going to extend out through the crown of your head. So you're trying to get the crown of your head reaching forward. You're going to breathe in at the top there, and then as you breathe out, sinking back down. So exhaling, reaching forward, breathe in. So I want you to keep looking at the mat. You might end up looking slightly at the end of your mat or slightly off the end of your mat, but I definitely do not want you to be lifting your head and looking straight ahead. So keep those eyes downwards, looking at your mat. So exhaling as you lengthen forward, breathing in, and exhaling back down. So next time when you come up, maybe just come about halfway, okay? And I want you to then just hover those arms. And I mean just hover. You could get a sheet of paper underneath the arms, maybe, but not much more. Breathe and hold, and then exhale to take everything back down. So just extend forward through the crown of the head there. So feel that lengthening through the upper spine. Then just hover the arms. Elbows slightly down below the hands, or slightly lower down in the hands, okay? Breathing and hold. Exhale, everything comes down together. If that does feel too heavy for anybody, you know, if you're really feeling it in your lower back top, forget about the arms and just leave them on the floor and just do what we were doing earlier. Just exhaling, reaching and extending out through that crown of the head. And then that wee hover of the arms, breathing into hold, exhaling down. We're going to do 2 more. So you're going to come up, hover those arms. Depending how you feel, you can try just extending those arms forward, sliding them back, and then down. And our last one, coming up, hovering those arms, extending them forward, sliding back, and down. Okay. So we're going to push back into child's pose once more. Stretching out. Taking both hands to one side of your mat. That side stretch. And then sliding those hands across and stretching out the other way. Okay, so coming back up to all fours, and we're going to do our clam exercise on all fours. So I'm just going to face the camera so make it maybe a bit easier to see what I'm doing. So you're going to sort of take your hands over to one side so that takes your weight onto one knee there. And you're going to take the other leg on top, the other foot on top. Okay, so you've got your weight onto one knee and you've got this leg on top. And then you're going to open that leg out to the side. So you're exhaling. So whichever ankle is on top, that is the leg that we're moving. Exhaling to open the knee. Breathing into close. Okay, so we're trying to keep that pelvis level. So we don't want to be turning the whole body. Okay, so trying to keep that pelvis level. Sliding that knee. Slide it over your mat. And just at the end of the movement, it will lift away from the mat. Okay, and then just lifting that whole leg. So the ankle's no longer touching, lifting the whole leg. So last 2. And last 1. So then we just switch over, we shuffle over onto the other side. So you've got the weight on the other knee and you've got that ankle sitting on top. And that's the leg that's going to move. Exhaling, sliding that knee out to the side. Okay, so same as when you do the clam exercise on your side, we're trying to keep that pelvis level. So then if we open that whole, lift that whole leg out to the side. Okay, and 3, 2, last 1. And have a stretch back. Let the wrists get the circulation back into the wrists. Give them a shake out. Okay, so last thing, down on your tummies. You just take the hands one on top of the other. Rest your forehead. So this is a leg exercise, really, it's buttock muscles. You're going to bend both your knees. Okay, so you're going to, the knees are going to be a bit wide apart. You've got the heels together and the toes apart, like frog legs. Okay. And you're going to draw that belly button away from that. And you're going to squeeze those heels. Press the heels together as firmly as you can. And then release. So really squeeze those heels together. Press them together. And just by doing that, you will activate the buttock muscles. So, you're trying to crack a nut between your heels, and release. Press and release. Okay, and just 3 more. Keeping those abdominal muscles engaged. Keep the belly button away from the mat. And one last one there. And then you're going to turn onto your side. Lying out on your side there. So you're going to take your top leg and you're going to put your foot, sole of your foot, on the floor in front of you. Okay. So it depending on the hip joint and knee joint, your foot might be further down, it might be further up. So just wherever it's comfortable for you, that allows your pelvis to be upright. You're going to extend the lower legs, just stretch out as if you were standing up there, and you're going to start off lifting it up and down. So you're just lifting that leg up and down. So using those muscles, inner thigh muscles, right up at the top of your hip, right up near your hip joint. And then, if possible, you're going to circle the leg. If you struggle to do the circles, then just carry on with it up and down for now. Circling that leg and then circling in the opposite direction. Okay, and 3, 2, and the last one, and stretch out there. So bring the legs together, but swing your feet forward. So your feet are at the edge of your mat, or they might be a little bit off your mat, but so that we have an angle at the hip joints. So legs together. I want you to just, again, bring heels together, let the toes move apart. So you've got a little V at your feet. Top leg, you're going to lift it up. You're going to flex the heel and you're going to bring it back down, keeping that external rotation. So breathing in, the leg comes up, exhale, it comes down. And you're squeezing the legs back together. As if there was something in between your legs that you're having to squeeze out of the way or push out of the way. So flex that heel as you return. Okay, and 3, 2, and last one. I'll stretch that out. Then if you bend both knees, but have the knees sticking straight out in front, so that you have as close to right angles at the hip joints and the knee joints as possible. As if you had been sitting on a chair and you were turned over on your side. Okay, so we've got those knees sticking out in front. We're going to try and keep that spine lengthened. So just gently push the pelvis, top side of your pelvis away a little bit so that you lengthen the spine. And you're going to lift up that top leg. Okay, so you're just going to push it behind you, keeping that knee at right angles, pressing the foot behind you and returning. Exhaling as you push. Breathing in to turn. Ribs and pelvis, they're staying in alignment. You know, we don't want to be pushing the ribs forward and then curling back in. Just that hip joint. Press that leg behind you. Okay, and 3, 2, and last one there. Have a quick stretch. We're going to stay in this position. So bring that knee back to the start there. Just lift it up to hip height again, and you're just going to lift it up and down. Up and down. 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one. And again, just stretch that out. We're going to come up onto our elbows. So you're going to be propped up on your elbow. You're going to have your knees bent. And if you have a look at where your feet are, I want your feet and your bottom and your elbow all to be as lined up as possible along the back of your mat. Okay. So you're going to press that elbow down into the floor so that waist lifts. So you're starting off with a nice sort of triangle shape here. And then we're going to lift up the hips. Okay, so you're going to use this center, use those abdominal muscles to help lift up those hips. Or come up. You're going to breathe in, and then as you exhale, you're going to slowly come back down. So exhaling as you lift up. Breathing in. Exhaling slowly down. Keeping this pressure down through the elbow all the time. We'll do 3 more. 2. Okay. We're just going to switch around and we'll just do everything on the other side. So first of all, legs together, swing them forward. You're going to bring those heels together and let the toes be apart so you've got external rotation. You're going to lift that leg up, flex the heel. So a gentle point of the toe as you come up. Flex the heel as you come down. Breathing in. Okay, so squeezing that leg back down as if you're slicing through water. 2 more. And last one. And you take that foot in front of you, sole of the foot on the floor, you know, a comfortable place for you that allows you to keep your pelvis facing forwards and not sort of rolling backwards. Extend that lower leg and start off just lifting the leg up and down, making sure that as you lift the leg, you're not collapsing into the mat. So as the leg comes up, we don't want to be pressing our ribs into the mat. And then if possible, we're going to circle the leg. Think of your heel drawing the circles. And then changing direction with your circles as well. And just two more. And then let everything stretch out for a moment. Okay, so then bend those knees, but have them sticking out in front with your shins parallel to the front of your mat. So exactly, as if you were sitting on a chair, but turned on your side. We're going to just lift up this top leg and we're going to press it behind us. So the right angle at the knee stays there. So it's hip joint, it's all about that hip joint. Extending the hip joint and then flexing the hip joint when you bring that knee forward. Okay, keeping an eye on the rest of the body, of course. Don't let those ribs pop forward. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Just keep that knee at that height there, and then you're going to lift it up and down. Okay, so again, keeping that pelvis level. 3, 2, stretch it out, and then last of all on this side, we're going to come up onto our elbow. So bending both knees so that the tighter you bend the knees, the shorter the bit of body you have and the less weight that is. So if you have the legs out, it's much heavier. So if you keep those knees quite tightly bent, keep those heels in towards your bottom, press that elbow down into the floor. So this is where you start. Nice strong shoulder, and then you lift up those hips. You breathe in at the top here, and then as you exhale, slowly coming down. So we want a soft landing. Still keeping the chest facing forwards. 3 more. And 2. And last one. Okay, so if you come onto your backs, have your band close by, and lying down with bent knees, and just taking a moment to let yourselves relax down into your mat, let your body, let everything kind of sink down. Hopefully try and release tension in the shoulders and maybe tension around the lower back there. So just breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the mouth. So checking the feet first of all, trying to get them in parallel. If you're not so sure, take them together again, and then take the heels apart, and then take the toes apart, and that's roughly in parallel. Up to that pelvis, you've got your pelvic bones and your pubic bones, or your triangle, and we want to try and have that triangle line as level as possible. We can just gently curl that pelvis, curl that pubic bone upwards as you exhale, so that we flatten the back, and then we breathe in and just let the pelvis come back to its natural position. Exhale to curl. Breathe in. And back to that level position, and then up to the shoulders. And just try and kind of press your shoulder blades into the mat. And then release. So what you're doing really is just sliding the shoulder blades towards each other, just a small amount, so that they flatten into the mat, they open up across your collarbones a little as well. And then let them relax, let your shoulders and arms just relax as normal. Up to the head, just draw your chin towards your throat, just a small amount, enough that you can feel the back of your neck lengthening. And the last one there. And relax. Okay, so you're going to lift up both the arms. You're going to reach those fingertips, reach them up to the ceiling, so the shoulder blades are sliding around your ribs there, and then let the shoulder blades slide back into place, firmly into the floor. You're going to breathe in, opening those arms out to the side, and then you're going to exhale, pick them back up. Breathing in, opening out those arms, exhaling back. And then we're going to take both arms up, and we're going to check up on the ribs and pelvis. Make sure that they're aligned. We've got our imaginary thread tying the lowest rib to the pelvic bone. Keeping that thread intact, we're going to breathe in, we're going to let both arms hinge overhead, and then we're going to exhale to pull back. Breathe in. And then you're going to just take those arms alongside your body and let them relax on the floor there. As you exhale, you're going to take one leg up to tabletop. And then on your next exhale, making sure those abdominal muscles are still engaged, you're going to take that second leg up. You can always work with only one leg at a time if that is more suitable for you today. We're going to do toe tap. So one leg hinges down, very gently taps the floor, and then returns, and then the other leg. So if that feels too heavy, you can just keep one foot on the floor. You do maybe 4 or 5 taps with one leg, and then switch around and maybe do 4 or 5 with the other leg. Okay, but if you're happy with 2 legs, you're just doing alternate. But you should feel that those abdominal muscles are working. If you've got both legs up, you should definitely feel that you're having to keep those abdominal muscles switched on. So just last two and last one, and just carefully bring those feet back down to the floor. We're just going to take one leg up this time, and the opposite arm and leg, and we're going to extend the leg forward, and the arm is going to hinge back. Okay, so we extending arm and leg in opposite directions, and then we're bringing them back to the beginning. So the knee just comes back to tabletop, and the arm just comes back to upright, to vertical. And 3, 2, 1. Just like that. Arm and leg come down, and then you're going to switch sides. Before you start, just check up all those abdominal muscles and make sure they're engaged. You want to feel that you're trying to draw that pubic bone towards the tailbone. Obviously, that's an impossible thing to do, but we want that feeling, that sensation. And you're breathing one way as the arm and leg extend, and you're breathing the other way as they return. So last 3. 2. Last one, and again, both feet back on the floor, and arms alongside. We're going to take the hands behind the head, just at the base of the skull here, elbows in a kind of comfortable position for you that allows you to keep your ribs in line with your pelvis. Okay, you're going to try and get those eyes looking at your cheekbones. You're trying to look down your face there, down your cheekbones. You're going to nod your head, and you're going to exhale to curl. And you're going to breathe in. When you're curling up, we want to still have the tips of the shoulder blades on the mat. And that small curve at your lower back is going to get smaller, but not disappear completely. Next time when you curl up, you're going to stay up, and you're going to try and just sort of get that breastbone to sink down just a little bit further. We're going to twist towards one side. So you're going to exhale, you're going to twist towards one side, you're going to breathe into the middle. You're going to exhale, you're going to twist to the other side. Breathe into the middle. So think of what's happening with the rib cage. We're trying to get one side of the rib cage directing towards the opposite leg, and then back to the middle, of course. Exhaling as you twist, breathing into the middle, exhaling to the other side. And one more each way. And back to the center, and let your head come back down. And just let everything stretch out. We're going to use the band to do a bit of give us hamstring stretch, and before we're kind of finishing off. So put one foot into your band. If you don't have a band, you can just hold behind your leg there. Put one foot in the band, hold both ends together, and just stretch that leg into the band. Try to keep your natural spine shape, so we don't want to be kind of pushing our backs into the mat. So find a position for your leg where you can keep your natural spine shape, stretching into the band, and you can give the foot a few circles, foot and ankle, a few circles. And maybe just take that leg across the body. You don't have to, it doesn't have to go very far before you feel that stretch on the outside of the leg. And then you take it out to the side. Slowly across. Slowly out to the side. Come back into its normal position and just swap the feet around. And start off with your hamstring stretch again. So just stretching away. So the back of the leg out through that heel. That's where the energy is going. Out through the heel. And then circling that foot. Just a few circles in both directions. And then taking that leg across the midline, across the body. And then take it slowly out to the side. And slowly across. Slowly out to the side. And then back to its normal position and just take that band off. We're going to finish off. Gosh, time is suddenly running out. Make sure you've got no cushioning onto your head. We just do a couple of shoulder bridges to bring those heels in towards your bottom. Breathing in to prepare. And then as you exhale, first of all, you're trying to imprint or sort of flatten your back into the mat. So pubic bone starts to curl up. Keep trying to curl that pubic bone upwards. Press your feet into the floor. And really try and stretch those knees forward. So you're kind of digging your heels into the floor. Breathing in. And then as you exhale, try to smoothly return that spine to the mat. Breathing in again, exhaling up into your bridge. Breathing in at the top. And exhaling smoothly. Okay, so then you're just going to roll to your side and push yourselves up to sitting. And we'll just do our usual stretches to finish. So crossing one leg over and turning your body towards that knee. So you can hug that knee in, or whichever works for you, but you want to sort of hug that knee in towards you so that you feel that stretch deep in the glutes somewhere there. And then you're going to switch sides. And then just bring those, come round to the knees rather, and take one foot out in front, and keep one knee on the floor. Just straighten up. Think of that cord on the crown of your head again, lengthening up to the ceiling. Breathing in. And as you exhale, just give the glutes, the buttocks, a little squeeze so that that pubic bone is going to come forward, upwards just a little. Okay, and then switching sides. So we're trying to keep that pelvis level, upright. Okay, and then bringing those knees back in line, tuck the toes under onto the balls of your feet.